about the unity. There's nothing they can do with us, so ain't nobody moving me. Like the king, we make it plain and simple. Bringing knowledge and fire at reality simple. Reality simple. My black people, it's all about the unity. There's nothing they can do with us, so ain't nobody moving me. Like the king, we make it plain and simple. Bringing knowledge and fire at reality simple.
I watched Sarah Seti deliver his speech, and several things went on within that speech. And one of the main things that jumped out at me was the emotionalism. You gave a lot of emotionalism. Now you, at the end, you did kind of wrap it up telling us, save the family. But you should have led with that. You should have stayed on that. This was the Million Youth March. You got a huge backdrop of Trayvon Martin's face up on the stage. This looked like some type of dramatic skit. This was a theatrical play. Okay? What do I mean? You're up there banging on religion, but you giving the people the same emotional rhetoric, feeling, right, that Reverend Biscuit does. How are you criticizing the Christian church in particular, and you're doing it the same exact thing? Still toxic, still poisonous, just a different kind, a different grade, and issued by a different person. I'm telling you, I had to look at this, and if we don't critique what's going on, this stuff will go right over your head. I just want to know who these people working for real. That's why folk question and say, is this one an agent, is that an agent? Because all the inconsistencies. Now, we know how Sarah Seti gets down. We know how Seti gets down in his presentations, okay? And not everyone agrees with that. You're going to have to refine your game. We all this profanity and we've become immune to it. So it doesn't mean anything. You talking and here's the real deal, y'all. The piece on the elders. You say you represent an African way of doing things. Well, at least you say you're doing that by way of your information, right? But if you're really on an African mind, you're going to deal with the African system. Check. And there's nowhere in the African system, traditional system, where the elders follow you. Check. What is that? What part of the African mind is that? No, you don't set up nothing and tell the elders, you better get with this movement. We gon' bang on the cracker. And I love Seti. I love Seti. Don't get me wrong. I love Seti because that's my brother. But we got to pull these brothers back. If they're doing something that's not beneficial to the people. Did you watch the New Covenant crew as he was talking?
A revolution is. All of you quote all this history. But look at the history of black people in this nation and you compare it to any other revolution in history. There is no comparison. Black people are the most educated, the most richest, oppressed people ever in history. And your struggle goes on and on and on and on. For an up-to-date modern example of revolution, we can use Syria. I don't know anything about the rebels in Syria. There's a group of people, as far as the government of Syria is concerned, this group of people that's fighting the government are terrorists. But the terrorists view themselves as freedom fighters. Over 100,000 people have died in this civil war. The government and the rebels that they call terrorists. But these rebels no longer want this government on their shoulders. So many have died. Many are sacrificing. Many of the people have become refugees and gone outside of the border to escape the violence, while there are men who have decided to arm themselves and go up against a tyrannical dictatorship. I don't know what that situation is. I'm using the rebels as an example because they are dying. They are suffering. They are fighting. While you are doing what? You standing on the street selling DVDs. Come to my debate. Hear my lecture. Let's get in bed and make some more babies. Not for my benefit, but for our massa. Let's smoke some weed. Let's do some drugs. Your idea of revolution is warped. It's delusional. It's fictional. And above all, you don't have the strength. And you fear death. That is the reason why the black man and woman have become the world's greatest slaves, because you fear death. You fear sacrifice. You fear pain and suffering. Even though that's what you got. There was nothing good about slavery. There's nothing good about living under this racist. But you don't mind suffering under the massa, but you won't suffer to free yourself from that massa. You are fake. You are fake and fraud. That is the reason why you are attracted, and you already know that some of your favorite, and I don't have to name them, action speaks louder than words. I might name them later on, but you know who they are, and you love them because you are just as fake as they are. You love the black power, black conscience, Uncle Toms, Coons, and Sambos. You love them because you fake yourself. None of you are dying in the name of black liberation. None of you are suffering and sacrificing. Y'all live comfortable. None of you are refugees. None of you have been forced to go to Cuba or China and seek political asylum anywhere. You're a bunch of fakes. You know how to put on a beautiful show. And that's why many of these people don't listen and come to this ministry. Because they know that I know that you're fake. I know exactly what a revolution is supposed to be. What it's supposed to look like. I'm not tripping off what Malcolm X said. What Elijah Muhammad said. And the film clips from the Black Panther Party. I am here to bring us reality. I am here to bring us what we really have to face. But you already know some of these things, and y'all are cowards. So you can pretend to be of black conscience. What's the sense of knowing all this? It means nothing if you are not free and liberated to act upon what you have learned. You are still a slave and cannot apply all these things that you are learning. Because Amasa is not going to allow you to do what you think you want to do in his house. You love fairy tales. And black folks, Africans all the way to Egypt and prior to Egypt, the black man, these African people, love fantasy and fiction. The Egyptians love to worship death, all kinds of gods and spirits. We love stuff like that. You don't like the reality's temple. When I speak about fighting against this Caucasian man, you clap your hands. But when I tell you, you need to get rid of your religion and spirituality, you want to hold on to that for dear life. Because y'all Negroes, you love delusion and fairy tales and fantasy and fiction. Because you get high off of it. And when you get high off of it, it takes you away from your reality. So you don't have to deal with it. You really don't want to face and deal with this Caucasian pink people. You scared of them. You are scared of them. You dress up like an Egyptian. You want to talk Arabic. All this stuff. And you still living in the Massa house. You are Arabic speaking slave. Bean pie eating slave. Pyramid worshiping slave. That's all that you are. Black conscience and black power, you made a joke out of it. Nothing but a black power conscious church. Go all over the country just to hear a speech. If the speech is not inspiring you to take drastic action to free the people, and that requires blood, it requires death, it requires the taking of the enemy's life. That's just the bottom line. Look at Syria. Look at any revolution. It's not a game. It's not church. And you run around talk about the Christians. And you do the same thing. Let's go to the debate. Listen to the DVD. Church. Black conscious church. The Million Black Youth Church. That's all it is. Nothing but the junior Sunday school. Because you're not teaching and showing the children the reality of what they're facing. Church. Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? When you become a black revolutionary, when you are in the struggle of black liberation, you become a criminal. And you have to, and chances are eventually you will have to break the law of your oppressor. That's just the reality of it. You are a criminal. And you will be punished under the laws of your oppressor. That's why in Syria the rebels, they have to take up arms. And it does not make a difference whether you win or lose. You got to show yourself and you got to show your people that you really mean business.
My black people, it's all about the unity. There's nothing they can do with us, so ain't nobody moving me. Like the king, we make it plain and simple. Bringing knowledge and fire at reality's temple. Reality simple. My black people, it's all about the unity. There's nothing they can do with us, so ain't nobody moving me. Like the king, we make it plain and simple. Bringing knowledge and fire at reality's temple.